Props and futures for tonight's action. Bettor Sports Betting wants to know what picks you're playing tonight. Tell us in the live chat on YouTube, Twitter, and the Bettor Sports Network app. This is Bettor Sports Betting with Fantasy Alarm's Dan Servodidio.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Bettor Sports Betting Show. Howard Bender's here with me. He's not frozen today, at least as I can tell. But what's up, Howard? We here. We got a full night of MLB games to break down.
Not frozen here.
Not frozen, but get that robot arm going.
Right, just a little entertainment for the kids out there at home. Right, that's it. That's my breakdancing ability. 100%. Yeah, great day. Full slate of games for MLB. What do we got? NBA Finals tonight. Game 3 between the Heat and the Nuggets. I mean, we don't have any hockey tonight, but that's okay because this Stanley Cup Finals is looking like a huge stinker right now. Like depressingly bad. This Stanley Cup Finals is going to be. So happy to not speak hockey tonight.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Game 3 going back to Florida. We'll see if they can kind of get a game and make it interesting, right?
Won't matter. No.
Even
I tell you what, here you go. This is what's going to happen. In double overtime, the Panthers are going to win like 3-2 or 4-3, something like that. Like a double OT game, 1 goal differential, obviously. And then everybody's gonna be like, oh, here it is. It's the magic of Florida. It's the magic of Florida. And then they get blown out 5-1 in Game 4, and it goes back to Vegas. So I'm just mapping it out for you, people. That's the way it's gonna go. Phenomenal hockey season, phenomenal Stanley Cup playoffs run, the worst finals we could have possibly gotten, and that's it. Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Vegas just swept the series and we were just done with it, but it'll probably end up like 5 games.
Yeah, they'll gentleman's sweep, right? Yeah.
Sweep.
We'll see tonight if the Nuggets can kind of get back on the win track and make it a gentleman's sweep for them. But the interesting game there, Game 3, we'll have Justin Fensterman on a bit later to break down that, give us any props, give us any bets for the game. I know I got to lean, but we'll see what he says before I give out my picks. But that'll be fun to talk about. So stay tuned for that today. Tons of MLB props and bets that we're going to be giving out on the show today. Been pretty good for us on this show lately, last few days. So hopefully we can keep it going tonight. And some really good matchups tonight that we'll get into. Gotta start though with the biggest sports news of the day. You know, even if you're not into soccer, you don't watch soccer or anything, you've probably heard that Lionel Messi is joining the MLS, joining Inter Miami this season. In the middle of their season, about 16 games into the MLS season right now. So kind of a mid-season move, but leaving the Europe league. You know, he was with Barcelona, he was with PSG, but now he's coming here to America and MLS, and you see some of the stats up on the screen right now. Just, obviously everyone knows he's one of the best players, him and Ronaldo, of course, all time. Interesting, plus 2,800 on DraftKings right now to win at the MLS Cup for Inter Miami. If you want to get in on that, really interesting here because Miami is one of the worst teams in the league right now. If you look at the MLS standings. But I'm sure people are going to be jumping on that plus 2,800 because of Messi's name and Messi's, talent. So, just kind of a crazy sports story today, Howard.
You know what? I think my definition of crazy might be a little different from yours. It's the same thing. Listen, I'm not going to lie. This doesn't move the needle for me whatsoever. If anything, this is our real life Ted Lasso right now as Zava joins AFC Richmond, who was terrible, right? They were losing early on, and then Zava showed up for like 2 games, and then he disappeared again. But then all of a sudden things turned around for AFC Richmond. Listen, I don't know anything about the MLS. I don't know. I remember, is Tony Miola still a goalie in MLS? Is that even
I don't know.
Yeah, see, for me, my professional soccer love ended with the disappearance of the New York Cosmos, right? So if I didn't get my, Ricky Davis or Giorgio Quinaglia, like that whole, realm of things, then it does nothing for me here. So love Ted Lasso. I'll watch, all 3 seasons over and over and over again. I will probably watch Ted Lasso in completion more times than I will watch a single MLS game.
That's fair. I've watched a little bit more than that. I'll definitely tune in for the.
Did you have trouble sleeping? Like you were an insomniac, and you were like, I got to figure out ways to put me to bed. Put some Steely Dan on the radio and watch soccer. Like, would that do it for you?
If there's any competitive sports on, I'm in. I mean, during the pandemic, I was up watching Korean baseball. I was up watching the Bundesliga soccer. Like, if there was something on, I was watching it. So, if Messi is playing, and actually, I looked up tickets. I'm in the DC area here. I looked up tickets for DC United against Inter Miami when they're hosting them next month. You won't guess how much tickets are. Usually it's about $20-$30 to like go sit up top at this DC United stadium.
They probably juiced it to like $120, $125 for a ticket now.
They're like $100 right now.
Garbage. Come on.
Just to go see Lionel Messi. I mean, he's thought of like a god around the world. So, people are going to pay that to go see him play because he's.
I pray at a much different church. If you're saying that Messi is God to people,
go talk to people in Argentina when he won them the World Cup. They're worshiping him.
I will, listen. Power to the people. There it is. I mean, if that's what they like, that's what they like. I'm perfectly fine with that. I would prefer a much bigger campaign. I would much rather find out why the heck the NHL is so unloved by the American people. Like, all of a sudden, the American people are starting to embrace soccer more than they're embracing hockey, and hockey is a million times better a sport overall. It's much better. It's much more difficult when you're talking about doing all of what they do on skates. There's hitting. There's like legitimate hitting in the corners, as opposed to the wuss flopping that we see all the time in soccer. It's like
fighting.
Come on. I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think this was the direction of the conversation you were hoping for when you were bringing up Lionel Messi signing with Inter Miami for me. But come on, man. I would much rather see hockey get its due than to worry about Messi playing for stupid Inter Miami. I'm sure Jim Bowden's gonna like laugh it up on the Fantasy Alarm Show on Sirius XM when he's suddenly like the biggest soccer fan in the world.
Oh yeah, he's a Miami. He's in Miami. He's gonna be rooting for. He's gonna be going to games, I bet. But yeah, listen, the NHL, maybe they just need a show like Ted Lasso to get some interest in the sport, because obviously the Ted Lasso show has really generated interest in soccer. So.
Dude, everybody should go back and watch the movie Slapshot. It is by far and away the greatest hockey movie ever made. And if you want something a little softer, a little more pretty boyish, then go to Youngblood with Patrick Swayze and Rob Lowe. Like, I mean, you can do that if you're younger generation and you're looking for, like your Stifler buddy from the American Pie movies. Well, then damn it, there you go to Goon. There are plenty of hockey movies out there. I am not watching Bend It Like Beckham or Victory. Was that the one? Like, I can't stop talking. I'm so about
Howard. From a young person's perspective here, those movies you just named are older movies. Like, people my age and younger don't really want to go back and watch these old movies to get interested in hockey. You know what I mean? Where if there's something new like Ted Lasso just came out, people are going to be watching that.
I can't even look at you right now. I can't even look at you.
Well, let us know in the comments which side you're on. If you want to watch a NHL show or NHL old movie, or if you're really into Messi going to Miami here, let us know in the chat. Or of course, any MLB.
Don't let me know. You can let Servo know. Don't let me know.
Any questions you got for tonight's games, we'll definitely answer those. So send those in instead. All right,
we're done talking soccer. You can all wake up now.
People love soccer when the World Cup comes around, but when it's like right now, people didn't even know Inter Miami probably existed before today. So, all right, let's link Howard up here. Howard, we got PGA DFS playbook up on the Fantasy Alarm right now. How about golf, huh? Is golf going to win?
Somebody just son of a bitch! You just tried to wake me up from my soccer slumber with golf talk now. Come on.
Oh,
actually,
man.
I don't mind golf. Watching golf actually relaxes me. Soccer bores me. Golf actually relaxes me. So if you want to talk about the playbook for DFS, by all means. Who's Drew Phelps picking tonight or this week?
Yeah, he's got some good plays there. I won't give him out. Go check out the playbook. Last week I gave out a bet, Ricky Fowler to go top 20 based off of Drew's playbook, and it cashed. So definitely go check that out and lay some bets or get those DFS lineups in. The get all pro access to all of our DFS playbooks, tools, Howard's best bets articles. Use promo code ALARM50 for first 6 months, 50% off and a free trial. So yeah, head over to fantasyalarm.com. If you haven't already done so, we talk about this every day about these DFS playbooks. We got one tonight, obviously, for MLB DFS. Tonight for the NBA Finals, Game 3, we'll have a showdown playbook. So every sport out there, we got you guys covered. So go to Alarm50, the promo code of Fantasy Alarm, to get all those all-pro playbooks. Let's get to our MLB best bets. I mentioned Howard's article up on the site. He's got some thoughts on some picks there, but let's get to our picks, our top picks overall for tonight. What you got?
Listen, I had an abusive day on Monday. It was not good to me. And what are you going to do? I mean, these things, it's ebb and it's flow. And I took a couple of shots on a short slate and got my tush handed to me. So I'm going to play a little bit safer here today. I was going for some plus odds then. And here you go. The Cincinnati Reds at home, team total over 4.5 runs. It's minus 135 on DraftKings. And I mean, listen, it's Noah Syndergaard on the mound. So, if you just want to, you can probably load up on some stolen base props. I might have another Reds prop to talk later with, but Noah Syndergaard in 6 out of his last 7 starts has given up at least 4 runs, and he's got a couple of 6 and 7 run games in there. So, for the Reds at home, I mean, the game total of this, game was like 11. And I was like, okay, so you're more confident in the Dodgers, but I think the Reds are going to put up some serious points against Noah Syndergaard. He sucks.
Yeah, I'm on that. Yeah, yesterday I was on the Dodgers-Reds being a high-scoring game, and it came through. And today I think it's probably going to be about the same. Those offenses just clicking right now. And, yeah, Syndergaard is, especially on the road, some bad numbers there. So I'll back that. And I got a pick later for the Reds too, so we'll save that. We both got some props for the Reds tonight, so that'll be cool. The Twins is my best bet. The Twins money line. I got it at plus money earlier today. It's already moving to minus 105, I see, on DraftKings. But if whatever best odds you can get out there, I like the money line just for them to win, obviously. I'm banking on Pablo Lopez having a good outing here. He's got a 3.44 expected ERA this year. Great FIP compared to his higher ERA, which is about 4.5. Some better overall, advanced stats say that he's going to be having some better outings going forward. Career high in strikeout rate this year and a career low right now left on base rate. So just kind of been a little bit unlucky, but I think he's going to have some better outings. His road ERA this year at a 3 flat ERA on the road compared to a 6.11 ERA at home. Tonight he's on the road here in Tampa Bay. And the Rays offense, obviously overall this season, great numbers against righties, against lefties. But over the last couple weeks, they're actually a below average offense against right-handed pitching. Just a 3.01 WOBA against righties. So I see this matchup for Lopez having success. And the other side, we got a Rays bullpen game here. And we've talked plenty on this show, Howard, about how the Rays bullpen is just one we're looking to fade. They've been okay lately.
It's just getting worked.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot of innings on them. They've been okay lately, but there's some context there because they've been getting good starting outings from like Glasnow, McClanahan, Taj Bradley, Zach
Eflin yesterday. Eflin was great.
Yeah, Eflin yesterday. So they're only having to use the bullpen in the last couple innings lately. But when they get these bullpen games, it's a spot I want to target. We got Sean Armstrong as the opener, just making his second appearance of the season, and then Cooper Criswell as the bulk reliever who has a 6.11 ERA this year. So this is a spot I want to target. The Twins aren't the best offense, but I still think they can do enough and let Lopez anchor this win here. So back me on the Twins money line.
Yeah, I like it. Good left-handed bats. If Criswell's going to be taking the bulk work, you got Jorge Polanco bat from the left side. Kirilloff is a lefty. Larnack is back. Kepler, even Willie Castro, hitting down, eighth in the lineup tonight. He's a switch hitter as well. So they have it all spread out pretty nicely. I'm very surprised. I'm surprised to see Royce Lewis batting seventh in the lineup tonight. I'm not really sure why you would put, somebody like Donovan Solano over Royce Lewis. I think Royce Lewis plays a little bit better over there, but I mean, listen, I'm not going to be hypercritical about it. I think Baldelli does a good job with this lineup. I love Pablo Lopez. I think this was like the ideal trade for both teams. Like Minnesota needed a starter like Lopez, and look what the Marlins got. Luis Arias walking into today's game is batting 401 on the season. So, yeah, exactly.
A little tease there because I know you'll have a pick on him later, which is a pick I love, and I almost went with.
How could you not?
Yeah,
right?
I'm probably gonna tail that. So we'll get to that soon. We got some more picks coming up, and as I mentioned, Howard's Best Bets article up on the site right now. Use promo code ALARM50 to get 50% off your first 6 months there. Let's now get to some NBA Finals talk here. Game 3 tonight. We got Justin Fencerman coming in. You can see the game preview here, and we're trying a new thing here. We got Fancy's walk-up song coming on, so let's hear that. Don't hear it right now, but
I don't hear it. There it is. Get yourself pumped up with some Fancy.
Yeah, this is straight out of Rocky. This makes me want to go knock someone out right now.
Rocky 3.
Yo, Howard.
What's up, Fensty? Appreciate you joining us in. You got the championship belt behind you, so this song is very fitting right now.
Nothing pumps me up more than this song. I know it's kind of cheesy. I know it's a chalk pump-up song, but come on. That's what it is. Every time for my entire life to think in my own mind when I thought I was going to be a professional athlete, what was going to be the intro song? Eye of the Tiger, baby.
Yeah, Better Boss chiming in on YouTube that he approves it with those emojis there.
Emoji approval. All right, so wait. So Eye of the Tiger is Fensty's walk-up music. Servo, what would your walk-up song be? Have we discussed this yet?
I have thought about this. I would go for something like funky to kind of get the juices flowing, get the whole crowd dancing as I'm walking up to the plate. So I'd probably go with like a Superstition by Stevie Wonder, something like that.
Ooh, I like it.
I'm a little surprised. I thought it was going to be Getting Jiggy with It by Will Smith.
See, I had $20 on Big Pimpin', but okay,
Getting Jiggy with It is a close second, Fancy, as you know.
Of course.
You keep my walk-up music out your mouth.
All right, let's get to Game 3 tonight, Fancy. I mean, how surprised were you, first off, at the Heat winning that last game in Denver, and kind of looking into tonight's game? The Nuggets are small favorites here on the road, -2.5, -3 is a spread here, and small favorites on the money line as well. Just kind of reactions to Game 2, the Heat winning that, tied 1-1 going into the night.
Was not expecting that, but this is what the Heat do. I mean, I've come on this show a bunch and said they're built for a marathon. They just don't go away. They're like cockroaches. You just can't kill them. No matter what you do, they're always staying in the game. And it just seems like they're able to outlast Denver towards the end of these games. I mean, we even saw in the game before them start to come back a little bit down most of the game. So while I wasn't completely shocked because this is what this team has been doing, still, I mean, Denver looked like they were good on the offensive end. Nikola Jokic was crushing them, but that was the problem. It was really just Jokic, and that was it. Heat has been using a team effort, it seems like, every single game to stay in most of these games.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, Fancy, when we look at it. And one of the things that I've learned along the way, because we all know I'm not a big NBA guy, but I've learned that Eric Spoelstra is definitely a difference maker. And I mean, his ability to make in-game changes as well as from game to game changes. Do you put the coaching advantage slightly? I don't want to slight Denver's coaching staff at all, but I just feel like we're looking at at Spoelstra, who has been a very reputable head coach and has, definitely has brought Miami to a point where nobody expected to see Miami at here in the finals. So does he have that edge? Does he give this, the Heat even a little bit more of a fighting chance?
He does, and that's because of his ability to really understand tape. And like you said, in-game adjustments, we've seen Miami throughout the playoffs shoot so poorly but still stay in games. And you wonder why that is. And that's because of the endurance, but also because they don't abandon their plan. They try to grind you out and work you inside unless their threes are falling. And that's why we've been able to see more toughness from guys like Bam Adebayo, because Denver has been giving them the lane a little bit more. And that's a direct reflection of coaching, because a lot of times when you see teams go down, especially when their opposition is hitting 3 after 3, they're going to try to match them because they're thinking they need to close the gap quickly. That's not what the Heat do. The Heat just play their game no matter what happens. They don't let any of those pressures get to them. They continue to try to work that elbow, and that's where they continue to be successful. And now with Bam Adebayo doing what he's been doing, they got to find a way to clog up that lane a little bit more and really force Miami to hit a bunch of threes. They shot pretty decently from beyond the arc last game, unlike Denver, who really hasn't been able to get it going from downtown.
Yeah, Adebayo's assists is one I was looking at, assist prop for tonight as we look at some of your top props tonight. Is that one that you've kind of circled because he's kind of running that point forward role where he's bringing Jokic out, and you mentioned that the Heat are just kind of adjusting here where they're letting the threes come to them, but it's Adebayo who's really dishing it to either the 3-point shooters or the guys cutting inside. We saw it with Duncan Robinson last game, right? Gabe Vincent pops open for a 3, and it's Adebayo who's really been the guy dishing it. Not as much a Jimmy Butler running the offense. We're seeing Adebayo because it brings Jokic out of the paint, right? So is that something where you think the Nuggets are going to adjust and take away that kind of point action for Bam, or you like his assist prop 3.5? I'm seeing on DraftKings, it's juiced, but might be worth it.
Yeah, no, it's very low, but at the same time, because he's been getting so much success in the paint, you would think that they would try to force him to pass off early a little bit more instead of giving up as much space in the paint as they have Servo. So being that it's low, I like that. However, if I'm looking at assist props, 2 other players that come to mind, Jimmy Butler over 6.5. It was 5.5 during a lot of these playoffs, but we've seen him go over 6.5 in both games. And this is just, again, why are the Heat so good? They don't take stupid shots. Jimmy Butler doesn't do that. Jimmy Butler doesn't force up stupid shots. He'll wait and drain that shot clock all the way down to see if there's a cutter at the last second. If Denver's defense gives up a little bit of space, then he'll make that pass. He's constantly looking on the court. So I'm willing to take the over on 6.5, and got to give some props here, pun intended, to my guy Adam Ronis as well, Howard's co-host on the Cash Podcast on fantasyalarm.com. And that he also said, a little plug there for the pod, but Jamal Murray over 6.5 assists as well, 10 in both games so far. So if this guy's not going to be scoring, he's going to be running things as more of a traditional point guard. He's gone over this safely in both of his last 2 games. So when it comes to assists for this game, those are more the 2 that I've been looking for. But Servo, you did open my eyes a little bit, especially because Denver has to have on their mind to get the ball out of Adebayo's hands. Maybe he's passing off a lot more.
Yeah.
So, Fancy, I was looking at, I watched, we've got the article over at fantasyalarm.com. Rick Kamla's got his props for the Nuggets. He's got his props for the Heat as well. And then obviously we also see the DFS showdown lineup over there from James Grande. And, listen, we know the big names. We know the Jokic and the Murray and the Adebayos and the Jimmy Butlers. Do we have any props that would probably be considered more on the low end, like good value that we're probably getting?
Yes, and one of them is Michael Porter Jr., so he's like a tier down of some of your top names. If Denver is going to win, this guy's got to produce on the offensive end. We've seen him crash the boards big time. Last game, though, wasn't really involved, and we've seen this from Porter a few times where if he's not hitting those threes, he'll just be standing in the corner like Allen Houston used to do while making $1 zillion to stand in the corner stupidly. But with Michael Porter, he has the ability to drive the lane. So when Michael Porter's not hitting his shots, he should still be calling for the ball. He should still be trying to cut. Denver should still be designing plays to get him in the post because he's been dangerous from there. And now he's more willing to sacrifice his body because he's been banged up for a decent amount of his career. So I'm expecting a bounce back from Michael Porter, and I'm looking at his PRAs. They were sitting there at 22.5. The juice has gone up a little bit at different points during the day, but I'm willing to take the over on 22.5. We know that he has the ability to score. We know that he's been doing well for the most part on the rebounding end, and that's most of the battle right there. And we've even seen some assist production from him at times too, trying to feed someone like a Jokic in the post. So I'm thinking bounce back, and if anyone else is out there, 22.5, very forgiving line for his PRAs. Michael Porter Jr. taking the over.
Yeah, I like that. And on the bounce back note, one of my bets I'm locking in is the Nuggets money line. I'm not going to worry about the spread, but minus 150 on the money line. I really like that. This line is interesting because I feel like it's just begging people to back Miami, whether they want people to bet on Miami's money line at home here after that Game 2 win or the spread. But Denver, their adjustments here could be lethal. I just feel like their offense could really catch a second gear, especially with Michael Porter Jr. leading the way. On that front, do you have any leans for the spread, the money line, or even the over-under in this one?
Yeah, I was looking at the money line as well because when you look at this Denver team, considering they're a 1 seed, to see them at minus 140, minus 150, that's actually very appealing, like you just pointed out, Servo. And especially if I'm going in with the mindset that Michael Porter Jr. is going to have that bounce back game and still thinking that Miami's going to let Jokic do whatever he wants and try to close down every other player. That way you have Jokic draining the shot clock and Miami can keep up from a pace standpoint. You also can eliminate all the other players or most of them from getting into true rhythm on the offensive end if you just let Jokic score his 40 to 50 points here. So for me tonight to think that Michael Porter Jr. is going to bounce back, I'm thinking this team as a whole will bounce back. So I like them on the money line. I also like them on the spread as well at 2.5 before. Now it's up to 3. Yeah. I still like them there. So I'm team Denver tonight. And I don't mean to disrespect Miami or anything like that, but the Denver team that I think we're going to see tonight is going to be the team that we saw in Game 1 rather than the team that just disappeared in Game 2. Because let's not forget, guys, they weren't bad last game. They just ran out of gas. They just hang around. So if you're seeing Denver up, let's just say 15-17 going into the fourth quarter, don't think the game is over. This Miami Heat team just doesn't go away.
I love it. Fancy, one more from me before I say, my piece. Listen, this is obviously because, shout out to Shen Blunt over at the Sirius XM. She's my producer for the Fantasy Alarm Show. And of course, our New York Jets quarterback is one of the ultimate Swifties out there. Fancy, what do you think about this NBA Taylor Swift curse that we're looking at right now? So if you haven't heard, every team that's in the NBA playoffs that Taylor Swift is playing that city, they've lost. Now there's a July 15th concert in Denver. We already saw, they have later shows in LA and in the San Francisco area already scheduled. Those teams have lost. The one city that Taylor Swift has not played nor is scheduled to play on this tour is Miami. Fensty, are you sprinkle a little something plus 225 on the Miami Heat to win this whole series with the Taylor Swift curse?
You know how there's Narrative Street That's narrative country right there, Howard. How deep are we going to dig right there? Seriously. I mean, and that's what everybody's talking about too. That's what it all comes down to. Taylor Swift, where she's playing, and who she's reportedly dating at this point.
She's a national treasure. I'm not going to take that away from her. But I mean, listen, if this is the case, if there is any truth to this curse, Fedsty, I mean, listen, plus 225 when its series is tied at 1-1. I don't know, man. Half a unit.
You're talking to the guy that doesn't try to believe in birthday narratives, let alone this of all things as well. Geographic concert correlation, Hal. I'm sorry, I'm not fun like that.
On that note, Fedsty, last one for me before we let you go. When you look at the series prices, if you're looking at Nuggets to win in 6 or Nuggets to win in 5, or if you want to go the Miami route, if they could win, is there kind of something you foresee happening between tonight's game? We got a game Friday night, and then I think Sunday night is there, or Monday night is the next one. So I'm not sure if we'll talk to you before any of those games, but kind of seeing how this series might play out. We'll say, if the Nuggets do win tonight, how do you see game 4 going? Is there any kind of value backing the Nuggets on the series prices or the Heat on the series prices right now before tonight's game?
Denver wins tonight. I'm thinking they're going to win in 6. I'm thinking that they're going to split in Miami. And now I know things have changed a lot through the years. It used to be the series format 2-3-2, where you'd have games 3, 4, and 5 to the road team, to the underseeded team. But that's not how it is anymore. It's 2-2, 1-1-1. And it's been that way for over the last few years, which I think is better. I think that there's a split in Miami if Denver wins tonight, which I'm thinking is going to happen. And then I'm thinking Denver's going to end up taking it in 6. I'm trying to get myself to believe in Miami. We'll have to see how they come out tonight. But if Denver wins tonight, I'm thinking Denver's going to finish this in 6.
Gotcha. All right. We'll lock those bets in, people. You'll be live on the Bettor cast on Sirius XM tonight, right?
Yes, sir. 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern,
Yeah.
Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, covering the action live. Can't wait, guys.
Sweet. Yeah. If you get some live bets in with Fensty and Ronas is with you, right?
Yes, sir. He is.
Yeah.
At least I think so. You never know with Ronas.
Could change.
No. You know what? Listen, I was just recording Cash It with him, and he was like, "Oh God, I gotta do the show with Fensty." So let me go.
I mean, he's like that every day.
He was like, "Let me go for my walk right now and try and clear my head."
I know it's funny because half the time, and he won't admit this to you, he'll call me while on that walk. I mean, I'm like, how stupid can you be, Ronas? You're trying to be stress-free, and why are you calling me?
Oh, he's doing his prep work. You
Yes.
boys are adorable.
Yes.
Like, what are we going to fight about next tonight on the show?
Yeah, that's a daily occurrence here. It's like my work life.
Well, Fensty, if we listen to your NBA advice, I know I won't be stress-free tonight. So I'm glad we're lockstep on the Nuggets tonight. We'll see if they can pull it through. Definitely go listen to him tonight with Ronas on Sirius XM Fantasy Bettorcast every Monday through Thursday on that show, killing it, and has been all season for Fantasy Alarm's NBA team. So appreciate you joining us here, Fensty. We'll definitely have you on again sometime soon.
Guys, thank you so much again for having me.
See you, man. Yeah, there's the series prices for tonight's game, for game 3 tonight. So definitely going to be a good watch tonight. And then we got the Stanley Cup Finals game 3 tomorrow. As Howard said, the series might be over. So
It's going to be a stinker.
We're going to be a stinker. Yeah, there you see the schedule. Yeah, Thursday night is game 3 and then game 4 on Saturday. So we'll see if Florida can make it interesting. Plus 420 on the odds there. And by the way, we were talking Monday about the Taylor Swift curse. And you mentioned, oh wait, Vegas did have a date on Taylor Swift's tour, so they're out of the parlay.
Yeah. We had to nix that parlay completely just because apparently Allegiant Stadium was the second stop on the tour. So right after she screwed over the Phoenix Suns and all their fans, then she just went to Vegas to immediately, say, hey, listen, this doesn't apply to hockey. I'm telling you, man, Golden Knights, take it.
Or,
I'll bet you Adam Bernard agrees with me right now. I'll bet you he does. He's our producer. I think he should pop in here.
We know
pop
he can
in here,
sing
Adam.
some Taylor Swift. So
as powerful as Taylor Swift is, I don't think she's going to affect the Stanley Cup much at this point, especially
No. We're done with the Stanley Cup of that. Stanley Cup's over, Adam. Admit it. It's Stanley Cup's over.
I took Vegas
Wow.
in 6 at the beginning of the series. I almost went 5, and now I'm kind of wishing I went 5. Like, that's how the series has gone. It's The problem with Florida is they took too many penalties in game one. They didn't learn their lesson. And then in game two, they take a penalty immediately. What happens? Vegas scores a power play goal. And then that was it. The game got out of the barn from there. So Florida needs to play disciplined if they're going to have a chance to get back in the series. Learn your lessons from the first two games.
Dude, Bobrovsky couldn't stop a beach ball right now.
And that's another thing too. I mean, listen, I don't blame him for the game got out of hand. Like, it was good to get him out of there. There was no benefit in keeping him in there. Two of those goals were not his fault, but yeah, it's just a matter, like, you keep trying to, bring them into like a back alley brawl, and they don't want it. They keep walking away from it. Learn your lesson. Play hockey.
Yeah, we're gonna start calling him the Matador. Ole. or the maitre d', right? He's just gonna be like, "Oh, Mr. Marchelot, your table's right this way in the goal. Please come step right here."
How you called it?
I started thinking Lou Brown when you said Ole from the movie Major League.
Oh yeah. How you called it? Bobrovsky having trouble with that layoff. It definitely impacting him, right, in this series.
I said, yeah, let the forwards and the defensemen get healthy. That's great,
Yeah.
but you're taking off that like serious momentum there. So, it is what it is. I'm more disappointed. Adam, I mean, this is going to be a campaign that I'm on. I don't understand why do we hate the NHL so much? Not we as in like you or me, but I mean, you got Servo here who would rather talk about Messi and soccer than to sit there and really like dive into the NHL.
Lionel Messi is the biggest sports world story today. There's no getting around that.
I've thought about that a lot. And then when HD TV came out, that definitely helped hockey, because watching it on the old standard, 4:3 definition TVs didn't help the game much. And it's a sport that you need to, people appreciate it after they go see it live. That it is the sport that benefits the most from actually going and viewing it. You don't appreciate just how fast these guys are. Do you see them going up and down the ice, the tape passing, all that stuff? You just got to give it a chance. I mean, maybe it's too fast paced for some people. In this country, we like baseball, slow paced. Football is fast paced for a few seconds, and then it's a lot of waiting. Basketball is the exception to that rule. We love golf, and now soccer's become like, maybe it's just too fast paced for people. They don't have the attention span.
That is a good point. The going to a hockey game is definitely a different experience than watching it, obviously. But like on the flip side, going to a football game is boring as heck, but everyone is still going to watch it on TV.
Dude, sitting there on TV, it's not much better with all the TV timeouts that you take, and I mean, it's like you're pulling teeth. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, hockey being that fast paced. If they're watching basketball, is basketball viewing basketball much different than viewing hockey? We don't have the dunks that go on there, but play goes down. You get the point guard. He's setting everything up. They're passing the ball around the perimeter. They're it's no different than in hockey when they're setting up in somebody's zone and they're passing the ball in the perimeter, the puck in the perimeter, and they're trying to, make something happen there. Like, to me, it's an exciting game to watch on TV. It's even better live, sure, because, football, I mean, are we just a bunch of just cement heads where it's like, oh, it must be football, and not like appreciate a game like hockey like we should. Baseball, it moves slower because it's strategic, and they've paced it up now. I mean, you're getting games that are finishing in 2 hours now. But come on, how much football do you actually watch when you're watching a 3-hour game? Like, how much? I mean, you're watching maybe 15 minutes of action. It's like you might as well just go to the red zone and watch The Witching Hour, where wins become losses and losses become wins, right? Like that's where all the action is for a football game. It's like, what happens when they're in the 2-minute drill? Hockey, you get that all the time. It's always happening. There's amazing shit to watch, and they're doing it on skates, people.
Yeah, if you watch a condensed NFL game, it's like 15 minutes of 15 to 20 minutes of actual plays. Same thing. I mean, baseball is probably even shorter. I think it's about 10 minutes. But yeah, there's well, that's the thing with hockey though, is because you're comparing to the NBA. My wife, she always makes these comments about, like, if I'm watching the NBA game, she's like, it's 100. Like, how both teams have scored 100 points in their last 2 minutes. Like, how is it still this close after both teams have scored? And it's just like, that's one of the things about NBA. You can miss baskets, multiple baskets. You can miss a whole half in the game, and it's still going to probably be close at the end. But hockey is like, we were watching with the Golden Knights. It could be over early. It could be they could score a bunch late, but if you miss it, you're missing like the few goals that actually are happening.
The one common complaint I've heard is that people have trouble following the puck live because it moves too quick. So that's one thing. But I mean,
well, then
know.
you should do more drugs and watch the trailers, right? I remember that was like, remember when they put the chip in the puck, and they were trying to show so it like glowed blue on the TV, and then when they took like a slap shot, it had like the red trailer to it.
I hated that.
Everybody hated that. Dennis Hopper was hysterical. He's like, yeah, everybody's complaining about. I saw him at the ESPYs, and he was like, everybody's complaining about this. I've been seeing those trailers for years and years and years on the puck. So
I just want to point out that Howard's solution to people not liking watching hockey, he just said, do better drugs.
Do better drugs, absolutely. Like if you're having trouble following the puck, telling
it's a reasonable and effective solution to the problem. So
let's make the puck like hot pink.
I don't give a crap what color you make the puck. It shows up better on the ice as black, but
goalies tend to prefer black in a sea of white so they can actually see the puck coming at them at 90 miles an hour. So,
right.
So let's make the puck white and just have chaos.
It's the advertisements around on the inside of the ice that keep changing like mid-play. Like maybe that's what it is. I don't know. You know what, people, hit me up on Twitter at RotoBuzzGuy. You see that right here, right underneath me. And hit me up. Why do you hate hockey so much? Why are you so stupid and you hate hockey? That's what I want to know. A, why do you hate hockey? And B, why are you so stupid? That's what I want to know. Just tweet me at RotoBuzzGuy because it makes no sense to me why people would even remotely want to watch soccer when you've got a perfectly good sport like hockey out there.
And with
people
that,
people want to say hockey's low scoring. Soccer is 0-0 half most of the time, or 1-0 finals. So
it was 7-2 last night in hockey. Come on.
Oh yeah. Hockey's usually more high scoring than soccer, unless you get some of these mismatches, like Barcelona against some low league Spain team, which I don't even know. So I'm gonna just move on. And by the way, tomorrow night, thanks Adam for jumping on. We'll be definitely breaking down Game 3 for the Stanley Cup for DFS and for betting, as we have a DFS playbook up on the site. Again, use promo code ALARM50 to get 50% off the first 6 months there. Free trial to all of our DFS tools and playbooks over at Fantasy Alarm. And we got one up for MLB DFS slate today, and the cover athlete is Ellie De La Cruz, which Justin Vreeland's put as his cover athlete. He's been on a couple covers, articles up on the Fantasy Alarm site lately, and also the MLB prospect article that just went live by Matt Sells. So definitely check that out. But with that, I just wanted to throw out this pick because I'm going with Ellie De La Cruz plus odds to steal a bag tonight, plus 260 on DraftKings. I really like this pick. Going against Noah Syndergaard, leading the league in stolen bases allowed at 16 this year. Every start, he's going to allow someone on the Reds to steal a base tonight. And I like these odds on De La Cruz because, last night I backed, me and Mpemba both backed his hits, runs, RBIs, his total bases, and it paid off. He did well in his debut, obviously. Did not steal a base, though, and that's his other tool that I think he's going to show tonight. Had 11 steals at AAA this year. 47 last year through both levels of the minors. So I think if he gets on base, they're going to let him run today. He's going to be looking to run against Syndergaard in this tasty matchup for him.
Yeah, I would love to see what the over under for stolen bases will be tonight for the Reds, because you got a number of guys who can steal some bags there. So I love the Ellie De La Cruz part. I threw a prop down there. Matt McClain over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBI. It's minus 135 on DK. Listen, I don't love betting, minus 130, minus 140, but at some point you just kind of you got to roll with it. You definitely have to roll with it. And for me, Matt McClain, super hot hitter right now, batting second in that lineup. With Ellie De La Cruz batting behind him, I think, the run scored will be nice and easy. He'll get on base. I'm loving on that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, there's a few Reds props you could go with tonight, in addition to your best bet of the team total over. This matchup at home in Great American Ballpark against Syndergaard is pretty tasty. But
of course, can we just Talk about the fact, because listen, I don't know if you guys were doing strikeout props yesterday, but I am willing to bet that if you were betting strikeout props yesterday, you were all in on Mitch Keller against the Oakland A's. I'm sure somebody was
I
all
was.
in.
That was
Yeah,
that was
okay.
one of my picks.
So I'm sitting there yesterday, and I was all in on Mitch Keller for DFS. I was doing the playbook at Fantasy Alarm.
Why
and
not?
I was all in on. And then all of a sudden, everybody and their grandma was screaming, Mitch Keller, Mitch Keller, Mitch Carroll, take Pittsburgh on the run line, take Pittsburgh on the money line, blah, 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 blah. And I said it right there on the show. I was like, everybody being in on this, like all of a sudden now it makes me want to not bet it, because I'm now concerned that everybody's so on Mitch Keller. Like, everybody was like, why is his strikeout prop so low? It's 7.5 right now. He's gone over this amount in 5 of his last 6 starts. And I'm like, what does Vegas know? And then sure enough, Mitch Keller shits the bed. So now all of a sudden I'm like, everybody's in on the Reds. Now I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Syndergaard's going to throw 7 shutout innings tonight.
Gem, right? 7 innings, 2 earned runs. Going to be, this, 6 strikeouts. And all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, Thor's back. Yeah.
Yeah, that Mitch Keller thing from yesterday was, I agree. It was interesting to see his line so low. And I guess I did fall for it because I was going to pounce on it. And I also gave out the Pirates run line on the show because
Me too.
I mean, dude, just on the, Keller versus Caprillion was the pitcher for the A's.
Right? It's unbelievable. That's you can just cue in John Sterling. Well, that's baseball, Susan.
Yeah. And by the way, the early game today, the A's put up 9 runs against the Pirates and won that game. Don't wake up the A's here. They're coming now.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, you know what? It's also an indictment of the fact that Pittsburgh is that bad. And we forget about that. You get off to a hot start. You're playing in a division that's like super soft and squishy. Why not? I got some more bets if you want them, Servo.
Throw them at me. Yeah, I got some more too. All
right. I'm going to start with your native sons, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
It's they're playing Detroit, and I don't love Reese Olson on the mound for Detroit. Zach Wheeler, I think, is in dire need of a rebound after his ass whooping by the hand of the Nationals last time out. I'm going to lock down the Phillies. I was going to take the first 5 innings on the run line there, but there's just way too much juice on that now. That was at like 150 this morning. It's probably at like 160, 170 now. So I'll take the Phillies on the run line, minus 115 on Caesars. I got it. They have to win by 2. I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to take one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. He went 0 for yesterday, but I think he gets back on track here. Nick Castellanos, over 1.5 total bases. And I'm getting that at even money, basically, on DraftKings. So Phillies on the run line, Nick Castellanos over 1.5 total bases, locking those in.
I like that. Yeah, Castellanos was a guy I've been riding a couple of hits, runs, RBIs, total bases, because he's been on fire. And they did an interesting thing that the Phillies, they moved him up to second, and they moved Trey Turner down in the lineup because Turner was struggling, and Castellanos has been on fire. And I think it's helped Castellanos just be, he's got Harper hitting behind him now. And Schwarber hitting in front of him. So he's getting some great pitches to hit, and he's killing it. So I like that.
Sacrificing a little bit of power for batting average, which I'm okay with. I mean, I would have taken him on the hits plus runs plus RBI, but they had it at 2.5 when I was looking this morning.
Yeah, and his is one that's now been up to 2.5 because of how hot he is. So yeah, that's the one where you can. All right, now let me just go to the total bases and it pays off. I like that. I'm going to go with Jaime Barria here, over 4.5 strikeouts. I got it minus 128 on FanDuel, but it's minus 130 on DraftKings, I'm seeing, so still good. He's been so this is a third start of the season for the Angels. He's been working out of the bullpen too, but in the rotation now, it looks like, and he's been over this in both starts so far, 6 strikeouts in both starts so far. So I just think this line's a touch too low. I don't think I'm being duped like Mitch Keller. The Cubs here, high 29% strikeout rate against righties over the past 2 weeks. and 31% strikeout rate against righties over the past week. The Angels righties in this series have been having swing and miss success against this lineup, but I think Berea is going to keep it going. And even though he was a reliever at times and now in the rotation, he's still going like 5 innings, and he's been averaging over just at a strikeout per inning. So if I think he goes 5 innings, he can get that five strikeouts go over this line. And even last start, they let him go 90 pitches as a starter. So he can even go 6 innings if he's a bit more efficient.
That works for me. That definitely works for me. What Cubs strikeout rate, 24% plus per against righties?
Yeah, overall this season, 24%, but it's been up lately, 29%, 31%. So I'm in on that one. I think it's low because it's Berea, the name, you don't think strikeout pitcher, but I still like the over there.
I dig it.
Another one I like here. I like the Giants team total. This is one I had last night, and it hit because I was fading Dinelson Lamet. Team total in the first 3 innings, over 1.5. You could go the first 5 innings too, but it's high up there at like 5 or 4.5. And I don't like that number, but I like the over 1.5 here. I don't mind paying a little juice on DraftKings. Facing Connor Siebold here, who has not been good this year as a starter. Where's the number here? It has a 5.46 ERA this year as a starter, and given up 13 runs over his 3 home starts in Coors Field. So this Giants offense, already a top 5 offense against righty pitching this year. And I think in Coors Field, they get that boost. This came through last night, as I mentioned, against Lamet, and Siebold here, I think, is going to kind of do the same thing, run into some early trouble. Has allowed at least 2 runs over the first 3 innings in each of his 3 home starts this year. So I think the Giants offense can do something here.
I definitely think the Giants offense could do something here, right? You've got Conforto back. Tyro Estrada is healthy. He's activated. Is Lamonte Wade probably one of the most underrated players? On base all 6 times yesterday. He was the cover boy of my playbook yesterday.
Yeah.
3
He's
hits.
so good against righty pitching too.
Yeah, and batting leadoff, 3 hits, 3 walks. It was definite gold for him there. So I love that call there for the Giants, jumping all over Seabald nice and early.
Sweet. You got 2 more picks right before we get to some home run calls.
Oh yeah. Well, let's just go to the Marlins game, huh? How about that? That's actually going to be starting up a little early, 6:40 Eastern. Miami hosting the Kansas City Royals, who are trash. It's Jordan Lyles on the mound. I get as excited about like Jordan Lyles as starting as I do when Wainwright's starting, when Noah Syndergaard is starting. It's like invest going up against these guys. Give me the Marlins first 5 innings on the run line, -0.5 a run. I got it for -125 on BetMGM. I think Edward Cabrera can keep this putrid Kansas City Royals lineup in check, at least just for, like the first couple of times through the order. Let the Marlins pick something up. And then, you know what? Grab yourself some Luis Arias, over 1.5 total bases. Like I said, it was -110 on BetMGM this morning, which makes me a little nervous, obviously, because you're talking about a guy who's batting, coming into today's action, is batting .401 for the season. He's just been absolutely phenomenal, and he's gone over this prop in each of his last 7 games. So the fact that it's only -110 on the total bases was a little interesting for me. So yeah, I like that. I'll just go all in on the Marlins here tonight.
Sweet. And by a quick update here, just breaking right now. The Phillies-Tigers game is being rescheduled to tomorrow because of the air quality in the area from those Canadian wildfires. We might see the Yankees game get rescheduled too if the Phillies are doing this in Philadelphia. So a couple of those bets that you just gave out, unfortunately, are gonna have to wait till tomorrow because that rescheduling there. So that if you got any bets on the Phillies tonight, or DFS for that matter, that game is now rescheduled to tomorrow. So, but I like the Arias call. I'm definitely going to lock that one in, the total bases prop, because he's been on fire.
Now I'm just sad. Never mind.
I'm sorry. My last pick is the Red Sox first 5 run line at +0.5 a run there. I like Cutter Crawford, kind of been up and down, but some some better overlying numbers to kind of rebound here. He's got a high BABIP and an impressive K rate this year as a starter. I think he's going to have a good outing against the Guardians lineup that's terrible against right-handed pitching. On the other side, Tanner Bibby's been really good, been impressive, but this is his toughest matchup yet against the Red Sox. Red Sox are top 5 offense against righty pitching this year. So I think there's some value here in getting the Red Sox. You can even look at their money line, but I like the first 5 at a half a run there to keep it at least a tie game or be leading after 5 innings there. And I think they're just kind of getting a little disrespected because it's BB against Crawford on the surface, but I'm looking at the offenses here. The Red Sox being a lot better than the Guardians.
Yeah. I mean, the Red Sox on the road, not as good or tasty at home. We are seeing a little something here from the Guardians, but yeah, I got you. You're gonna side with Cutter Crawford. I'll be honest with you. I don't love the bet, but okay. You can't love them all.
Yeah, you can't. Adam Bernard, producer, saying Yankees officially postponed as well. So
there we go. Yankees postponed against
the Phillies and the Yankees games both postponed tonight. So just keep that in mind when you're laying some bets tonight. With that, let's get to our home run calls because mine is now a moot point. I had Anthony Rizzo going deep. I'll just tail you and just kind of let you have the floor here, and I'll just back you tonight.
Why, copycat? Come on. No. All right. I mean,
my Rizzo pick's done. I mean, I don't know.
I know. You don't want to just take a stab at something. Why don't you say Mike Trout?
You know what? I'll go homer and say Castellanos going deep and back your total bases prop.
But that's just stupid because the Phillies game has been postponed as well.
Oh, it has.
Yeah, you know what? Shohei Ohtani against Jameson Taillon.
All right, there we go.
There you go. Do that. Back Jaime Barria and his strikeout prop with a little splash of Shohei Ohtani.
Okay, I'll do
against
that.
Jameson Taillon. I like I took Yordan Alvarez and I think it was like plus 300.
Yeah.
For him against Chris Bassett. I mean, obviously Alvarez is just he's a stud of a hitter anyway, but he sees the ball very, very well out of Chris Bassett's hands. Chris Bassett also making his first start since coming back from paternity leave, which means that somebody, I mean, congratulations, but somebody's been dealing with a crying baby for the last couple of days. And Yordan Alvarez in 12 at-bats has 3 home runs in his career against Chris Bassett. So you got a tired, sleepy, I wonder what my kid's doing right now, Chris Bassett against young and hungry Yordan Alvarez, who literally hits the ball out of the yard 25% of the time he faces Chris Bassett.
Love it. I'm still backing it, even though you don't want me to.
I just don't want everybody jumping all over it, man. I'm telling you, I'm coming off the Reds quick and dirty right now.
By the way, right after us, coming up in a couple minutes here, 5:00 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network, we got the MLB Quick Pitch DFS show with John and Pemba and James Grande until 6 p.m. Eastern. So get those DFS lineups in as you're getting your MLB bets in, and then the Quick Outs Fantasy Football show with Andrew Cooper and John and Pemba at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Campus to Canton guys, Felix Sharp and Austin Nace, are on with you for an hour there. Howard, it's been real. We're going to shut off here, but appreciate you joining me today. You'll be back on Friday, but appreciate everyone tuning in here, and we'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Good luck, everyone.